to get the big daddies, I've always said on this show and thought in the back of my mind, to get the big daddies like Satterwhite, excuse me, are absolutely monstrous. And when you look at Tennessee, they're starting to trend that way and that direction. I'm going to use a guy named Cade Mays because he was a bona fide 5-star coming out of school. Those are the type of guys you want. And I know Butch Jones back in the day that he would say, oh, we can grow this guy. There was the one guy out of Florida. I can't remember his name. It was like 250 pounds. I was like, no, you don't want to grow these guys. You want them to be big dudes coming out of school. And certainly there is no question that Satterwhite is one of those guys. What did you make of the pickup on Friday, and what does that mean for Tennessee football recruiting as a whole?
This is huge. 3 weeks ago, it's right about 3 weeks ago, Dave, we talked about Max Anderson being kind of the biggest pickup of the class for Tennessee at that moment. They got a guy from Texas that a lot of top-notch schools in that area really wanted, and Tennessee beat them all out. Now they go and beat out Clemson for William Satterwhite for an Ohio prospect. Now, again, at first there were some red flags to me because I had seen some of the top schools leading and Ohio State wasn't on the list. And I'm like, does that mean Ohio State didn't want him that much? I don't know. But Clemson clearly wanted him. And he chose Tennessee over Clemson, and that stands out a lot. And I still think Alabama did offer and pursued him pretty significantly for a little while, too. So this is a very, very big pickup. It really sets up Tennessee's, and this is an underrated part of Tennessee's offense, which we've talked about for a while, which is they really need that vertical rushing attack to be a threat consistently if they're going to have those deep passes. Just like Max Anderson, William Satterwhite is an interior offensive lineman. So you're looking at two guys you could really build your future around. Now, I'm not saying, look, it's not like tackles are a dime a dozen. You got to find good left tackles. I'm not here to pretend that you can't. But, Dave, if you load up on the interior and you find a center, which they need to do for the future once Cooper Mays is gone because they're really going to miss Cooper Mays, well, you might be able to get a tackle in the transfer portal at that point. And you could even sell to a left tackle, hey, you're going to have a lot of support from the interior, so you don't really have to worry about, and I know you know this, Dave, it's a lot harder for a left tackle when your left guard's not that good, and you got to cover for them.
True, and you can sell this too. Look at Darnell Wright, who was left tackle, and then they taught him how to play right tackle, and they're going to do the same thing of moving guys around. So you say to that tackle, hey, if you've got the physical ability, we're going to get you ready immediately. So still, Jake Merklinger is the top-rated prospect in the class. Satterfield would come in at 5th, according to a 247's composite ranking. And then if you want to look at the other offensive linemen that Tennessee has, it would be Gage Genther out of Colorado. I wonder if that one's a little bit of reach, just to be real honest with you. Then Jesse Perry out of MTSU. So you got a group to start with, but I'm going to be real honest with you. It's far from over. Somebody told me that in 2024, quote, that's when it gets dicey with the offensive line. So that's what I'm sharing from somebody within the program, because they're going to lose a lot of guys. They've depended on some of Jeremy Pruitt's. You mentioned Cooper Mays. They've depended on some of Jeremy Pruitt's guys, and they have also they picked up guys in the transfer portal. But you're going to have to be good on the offensive line, I believe, via high school football recruiting. So this isn't done. They need 2 more guys of this ilk, but it's a step in the right direction where we're not waking up saying, hey, they need 3 guys of this ilk, because I'm not going to try to sugarcoat anything. Satterwhite is the type of cat that if you get 2 or 3 of, you're going to be good on the offensive line each and every year. I believe he's that good.
Yes, Max Anderson and William Satterwhite are both those guys that you can they're going to come to Knoxville, and the minute they learn the system, you can plug them in pretty much. They're not long-term projects at offensive line.
And I overlooked Max Anderson. You're absolutely right. Another 4-star guy. So you pick up another guy or 2 that ilk, I think you're in great shape.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas, yeah, you're right. Jesse Perry and Gage Ginther, both are much longer-term projects. If they have to go into the lineup before 2026, then Tennessee might be in some trouble. I'm just going to be honest with you. But you're right. If they can get 2 more of these guys, that really sets up their offensive line. They've got to, again, I'm learning now, the more I cover Tennessee, I didn't realize, Dave, it seems like, I know left tackle is probably a more important position. Yes, a left tackle is more important than center. But center seems like the hardest job to find somebody competent at on the offensive line. It seems like a total shot in the dark if you can get a good center or not.
A lot of dudes don't touch the ball in high school. And Cooper Mays, he had to learn within an offseason to handle the football. So did Spencer Riley, if you want to go back to 1998. And I'll tell you a funny story that's on that Celebrate 98 series. Spencer Riley didn't have one single fumble to T. Martin. So a new quarterback, a guy that had moved from the defensive line, but they did have one. I don't know if you remember this play early in the Syracuse game, but at one point, Spencer Riley snapped the ball and T wasn't ready for it, or he snapped it early. And so Spencer just ran off running with it. That's illegal touching. You can't do that as a center, but it doesn't count as a fumble. And Spencer Riley still takes great pride in that. So I thought that was pretty cool. So what does Tennessee need left? Well, according to Caleb Giroux on offthehooksports.com, they need more receivers. Look at Mike Matthews and Amari Jefferson. More interior offensive linemen. Williams Winery, it would be one. Camarion Franklin would be another. Running back, wouldn't hurt to get a special running back. How about Braylon Russell? That's what Tennessee is after right now. So
you meant interior defensive line, not interior offensive line.
Oh, interior defensive line, excuse me. Yeah. And then Braylon Russell is another guy that they could team up, you would think, with Peyton Lewis. That would be pretty good. But I don't know that they're going to get a special running back anytime soon, but there really aren't that many special running backs, Caleb. But if I had to grade Tennessee right now and how they're cruising along, I would give this, as far as recruiting, B to B minus at this point, which is just fine for early mid-July. That's actually pretty darn good.
Yeah, that's exactly where I would have it too. And part of it is, and they're finally doing this, and they've been doing this the last couple of weeks, is they're, even though the ranking isn't where you want it to be yet, because it's in the 10 to 15 range, I think Composite has dropped them down to 11 today. They were at number 10 yesterday. What I would say is that they have addressed clear needs with this class. And that seems to be what Josh Heupel's going about doing a lot, which is he doesn't seem to be getting the 4 or 5-star players. You know what I'm talking about. Those like five stars that push your class into the top 5. But he's making sure every position group is filled with competent players where he has the needs for going forward. That seems to be his recruiting method more than anything else.
No, and you can lean as long as you want to on the transfer portal, but I don't know that long term, pardon me, that's where you want to end up. So Satterwhite, a huge pickup for Tennessee, and Tennessee felt confident going into that. So it wasn't any great surprise whatsoever.